Alright guys, like I said, we're going to be changing out the fuel pump today on the old Dodge. Last week and I discovered that that's most likely what my problem is. So I end up ordering one. It came in on Thursday or so, and we're going to change it out. And I haven't really seen too many videos on YouTube about how to do it. A lot of people drop the fuel pump, or not the fuel pump, the fuel tank, and I didn't do it that way. I found a really homemade video. If I can find it, I'll link it in the bottom, where the guy kind of went through and showed how to take the measurements. He cut it out. I already cut mine because I've replaced this before. But I'm going to show you with a tape measure on where to make the points in case you just want to cut your bed. If it's like me, where you don't really load a whole bunch of stuff in the truck, or you don't really store a lot of things in there that are heavy, so it's not that big of a deal. This is a mud truck, so it was no big deal for me. This is the pump I got. Of course, it's the cheapest one on Amazon. It doesn't really matter. Really just to get it running. Let's get to the install. Alright guys, hopefully you can hear me. My mic is faced the wrong way. But this is the cut that I did. We step back and see exactly where it is, reference to the truck. Like I said, I found a YouTube video with all the measurements, but it's roughly 1.5 inches off the back wall, and roughly 13 really you could get away with off the back. So off the side, it's roughly 14, 15 you could be safe too. I went down to 32. Just squared it up, cut it out with a short blade sawzall, and left me plenty of room to get to this. Now of course, because it is a mud truck, it is dirty in there, but let's see what we can do. Alright, so first things first, you want to get this fuel line connection off. I can't remember 100% how to do it, but we're going to try and do what we can. Not too bad. Squeeze it, push it forward, and pull back. This side already broke off, as you can see. That is a piece that broke off. Now right here, there's a triangle and there's two lines. They have to be pretty much lined up when you're all done with all this, so keep that in mind when you go to replace it. Now I don't have the correct tools to get this plastic ring off, but same way I did last time. It's a flathead screwdriver and a hammer, and you can just work it around. Just go gentle so you don't crack it or break it. Not too hard, but as you could imagine, with the plastic tube here. It is a little bit of a pain to get on and off. Now that it's broke, it's not too bad, but when we get it on, you'll see it's a little pain in the butt. Try and clean this up as much as we can so we don't have too much mud and gunk fall down into my gas tank. Now really from there, you just lift. Now we are full of fuel all the way up to here, so let's try and figure out the best way to get this out. Here's the new fuel pump. It did come with a new rubber ring. And everything seems to be pretty much intact, but there's that nipple I was talking about that I broke off. Alright, so I ended up getting the float, got that attached, got the rubber ring on. Now we're going to try and work it down in there, line it up, and connect it all back up. Alright guys, well, sorry about that. In the middle of it, my phone overheated, so I lost all the video, and I don't want to risk taking it back out and breaking it, but I'm going to go over exactly what I did. Alright, so as you've seen when I push it down, you push it all the way down to where it's nice and flush, and the gasket isn't pinching at all. Then you take this plastic ring and you work it over. You can turn these a little bit, so that will help. And I pushed it down, got it around, slowly work it around this little nipple. This little piece right here is extremely fragile and it will crack and break off. So after you get it down, then you just take your screwdriver and your hammer. After you get all the way down, somewhat level, it's stiff. And you just slowly tap it around that way to tighten it back up. Once it's tight, make sure your arrow is lined up with your lines. You steal the blue piece off your connection from your old pump, put it back onto this piece, slip that right on, slip that piece right on, slip that right on. That's really the whole process of installing this pump. It's not really hard. It can be a little time consuming if you don't know what you're doing, but that's really it. Now let's see what happens when we go to start her up. As you can see, it is a mud shark on the inside still, so she's not pretty. Too bad. Fuel gauge seems to be reading correctly. Seems to be running, unlike before where we couldn't even get her to start. Well, there it is. Sorry, not all the full details there. I really didn't want to go back through, take it out to reinstall it. Sorry about the ding. Here, let me shut this. I really didn't want to go through and take it all out to reinstall it again. Mainly because when I installed the first one about a year ago, I broke that nipple off because I was frustrated. So sorry I didn't go about it. There are videos that go into detail about it, but I still wanted to show that I did it and that it's really not hard. It's pretty simple. The biggest pain in the butt is if you don't want to pull off your bed or drop the fuel tank, you do have to cut it. But honestly, I haven't noticed any problem with that. I don't use it for hauling big things in the bed. Oh, what is this? Well, as you can see, now I'm throwing a no bus code. Now what exactly that is, I don't know offhand. I'll have to go get my scanner and throw it on. Let's see. All my gauges zeroed out, so that's good. At least she still idles, runs. Now, will she actually do good under a load? That I don't know yet. Alright guys, so, well, after 20-30 minutes, I unplugged a few sensors, the air idle sensor, the throttle position sensor, and the ECU, and replugged them back in. I seem to have completely got rid of the no bus code. I'm still throwing a check engine for high voltage on my throttle position sensor and my air idle intake, but I've always thrown those codes ever since I got the truck. Now the next step is get this thing moved out back out to Loxahatchee so we can get working on it again and get the front end going so full drive works. Alright guys, take it easy.